This episode is brought to you by pastasworld.com, where you can find jigsaw puzzles, coffee and tea mugs, canvas and poster prints, iPhone cases, and more. You can even order custom items with your own pictures. Go to pastasworld.com or the Pastas World shop on Etsy to learn more.
You're listening to I Love This TV Show, The Golden Girls.
Hi, and welcome to the I Love This TV Show podcast. I'm your host, Noelle from pastasworld.com. Each season of this podcast will contain a TV show in full. This means the length of the season depends on the length of the TV show. The first season is, of course, The Golden Girls. The Golden Girls, Season 1, Episode 20, Adult Education. Dorothy is in the kitchen, hand chopping a salad. Sophia comes in to find Dorothy also on the phone. Sophia doesn't want to be late for her hair appointment. Dorothy is on hold with the box office to get tickets for a Frank Sinatra concert. Sophia tells about the time when she got tickets to see him before, but Sophia fainted right as the concert started, and so the two spent the entire evening in the bathroom with Dorothy trying to revive Sophia. Blanche comes in with bad news. She failed her psychology midterm, and now she could fail the entire course and not get her promotion because of it. Dorothy tells her she'll pass. She just needs to study harder. Dorothy finally gets through to someone at the box office, as in they take her off hold, and then she gets told that the concert is sold out. Dorothy: I'm calling about the Sinatra concert. It's what? What? You've kept me on hold all this time to tell me that it is sold out? No, I will not have a nice day. Sophia volunteers to get tickets for her. Rose volunteers to write to her friend in St. Olaf. Her nephew is a page in Hollywood. Dorothy looks at Sophia, who is leaning against a cabinet with her eyes closed. She's okay. She's just trying to make Rose go away. Later, in the living room, Rose is helping Blanche study. However, it turns into a story from Blanche's past. Dorothy comes back and is upset. She was told that she'd have to buy tickets from a scalper. Dorothy: they all told me the only way I'm going to get tickets is to go to a scalper. Rose: oh, you can't buy from a scalper. That's a crime. Dorothy: so is eating grapes at the supermarket, but you do that all the time. Rose: I have to test them. Dorothy: Rose, 1 is testing, 14 is brunch. Dorothy states that tomorrow she's going to go get tickets from a scalper. Blanche says to count her out because her final is the same night as the concert. Blanche starts to have a meltdown from all the studying. She decides to go pick up a man at a bar, but both Rose and Dorothy stop her. Blanche gets so frustrated she kicks her study materials. Dorothy suggests that she go and talk to her teacher. Dorothy tries to cheer her up by telling her about the speech impediment she had as a child. It took her 3 months to build up the courage to speak with her teacher about it. This teacher also inspired her to be a teacher. Blanche agrees that talking to her teacher is the best solution. It's now the night of her class, and it's just ended. Blanche waits till everyone leaves so she can speak with Professor Cooper. She introduces herself in her usual way, but he knows who she is because she's the only one that failed the midterm. He winds up giving her an indecent proposal to pass the class. He writes his number in her notebook and picks up her hand. Professor Cooper: well, it's going to take a lot of hard work on your part. Blanche: you mean like extra credit? Professor Cooper: well, you could say that. Blanche: oh, that's fine. I'm ready, willing, and able. I'll do whatever I have to. Professor Cooper: I like your attitude. This is my home phone number. If you really want that degree, you'll use it. You catch my drift? Blanche: oh. At the house, Rose brings out Jell-O for her and Sophia. but Sophia says she hates Jello. Sophia goes back to going through her purse. Dorothy comes in and finds Sophia and asks her if she got the tickets. Her response is a bit cranky. She had trouble finding a scalper. The only one she did had funny things that were in his hair and they were moving, and he wanted to go into a dark alley to negotiate. She didn't get the tickets because she didn't feel safe. Dorothy still insists she's going to get a ticket to the Frank Sinatra concert. Blanche comes home distraught. She tells the girls when she asked the teacher for help, he told her the only way she would pass is if she slept with him. Blanche. Oh, girls, I'm devastated, just devastated. Dorothy. Honey, what happened? Blanche. I asked my teacher for help, like you all told me to. He said the only way I would get an A on his final is if I sleep with him. Rose. No. Blanche. Oh, yes. I just don't know what to do. Sophia. Get it in writing. Dorothy is horrified by the teacher's actions. She hopes that Blanche told him off. She didn't. She's going to think it over. But Dorothy tells her that's sexual harassment and that it's not legal. Blanche is worried that she can't pass the class on her own merit. She's unsure if she can do it without using her body. Dorothy advises Blanche to report the professor to the dean. She tells her a story about a principal who sexually harassed her. Now, he did have a history of doing this, but she was the only one that he harassed while he was wearing a corset and high heels. Blanche decides to go and visit the dean and report the professor. Rose then tells a story about Niels, a guy who attempted to sexually harass her. He was a soda jerk. He'd make the ice cream sundae in her sundae in an obscene way, but of course the evidence would melt. Blanche does go to see the dean. She tells him her name. He then asks if she could wait a few weeks because it's only his second day. She proclaims she was sexually harassed by Professor Cooper. He begs her not to do this. He decides to fill out a form. He starts asking her some questions, but when he reads the forms, he's quite surprised. He kind of can't read them because they're making him a little horrified. She tells him that she is not doing well in Professor Cooper's class, and that he offered to give her an A for some sexual acts. The dean asks her about witnesses, and she tells him there weren't any. He says it's a situation of her word against his, and there's nothing he can do. She has some words for the dean and storms out in colorful fashion. Back at the house, Blanche comes in, and she's not happy. Rose is excited and tries to tell Blanche a story about her day. It's a lengthy story, and Blanche looks like she wants to explode. Rose finally tells her she won 4 tickets to the Frank Sinatra concert. Dorothy comes bursting in and holds up 3 tickets that she got to the Frank Sinatra concert. She bought the tickets from a scalper, and Rose then tries to tell Dorothy her story. Blanche can't take it anymore and gives a shorter version of Rose's story to Dorothy, who then turns to Rose and says, "Now that's how you tell a story." Blanche, Sophia finally comes in and joins the group and tells them that she got 3 tickets, third row center. And then she tells them how she got the tickets. Everybody's a little shocked. They now have 10 tickets combined for the Frank Sinatra concert. Dorothy decides they should scalp them so they can break even. Blanche gets angry and frustrated and storms out. They stop her, but it doesn't help. She decides to have an ice cream sundae. Blanche ever so subtly threatens Rose, so she exits the kitchen. Blanche is now in her classroom finishing up her final exam. Professor Cooper. Looks like we are finally at the crossroads. Blanche. Whatever do you mean? Professor Cooper. I mean, I know you've been having trouble with this course, and I'd hate to see you have to repeat it. Blanche. You know, Professor Cooper, I've been thinking about what you said, and I have no intention of repeating this course. Professor Cooper. Good. I'm glad you decided to take me up on my offer. Blanche. Oh, I'm declining your offer, but I do want to thank you. Professor Cooper. Why? Blanche, well, thanks to you, I studied all day and all night, and whenever I felt like giving up, I'd just think about what kind of man you really are, and I'd study even harder. In fact, you made me so mad, I decided to get an A on this test, come hell or high water. And I think I did. I, sir, am a lady. Maybe not the smartest lady in the world, but I do know that my self-respect is more important than passing your damn course. So you, sir, can kiss my A. Blanche waits up till 2 in the morning for the girls to come home from the concert. She wants to know what happened. Why are they so late? Dorothy tried to scalp the tickets, but it turned out that she sold them to an undercover police officer. So they wound up in jail. Dorothy has a meltdown because, again, she didn't get to see Frank Sinatra. Blanche points out that her test was tonight. She thinks she passed with flying colors. She finally told that professor off, too. Rose is happy for her. Now she can get her promotion. But someone else got the job instead. Blanche, oh no, didn't I tell you? That position was filled. Dorothy, oh, you're kidding. Blanche, the museum director gave it to Sally Fogelson. The money I spent on tuition, she spent on a tummy tuck and a butt lift. Rose, Blanche, I hope you're not discouraged. Blanche, oh, not one bit. My time will come. One day her butt will turn to mush, but I'll always have my degree. And we'll be right back after a quick break. Favorite quotes. Dorothy, Ma, are you okay? Sophia, I'm fine. I'm just trying to make Rose go away. Dorothy, Rose, 1 is testing, 14 is brunch. Rose, good Lord, I'm a criminal. Sophia, I hate Jello. If God wanted peaches suspended in midair, he would have filled them with helium. Blanche, he said the only way I'd get an A on my final is if I sleep with him. Rose, you'll be so much happier if you use your brains instead of your body. Blanche, the talent to drive men crazy with a body that many said should have come with a warning label. Rose, to this day, every time I pass an ice cream parlor or a tackle shop, I blush. Dorothy, take a lesson, Rose. That's how you tell a story. Blanche, you, sir, can kiss my A. Blanche, one day her butt will turn to mush, but I'll always have my degree. This was a bit of an interesting episode for me, for the sexual harassment angle. It's like I've never had to deal with sexual harassment in school, but I've had to deal with it in a lot of work situations. And it's not fun, it's not pleasurable, and it really sucks when it's like the president or the vice president or the co-owner. So even if you report it, nothing's going to be done because, well, they're the boss of the company. So I'm not sure how you guys deal with that. I have a tendency to just be like, screw it, this isn't worth it. I don't get paid enough. I'm going to go find another job. And I've had to do that on several occasions, sadly. Although the companies were not the greatest companies and I didn't enjoy the job all that much. But I do appreciate the fact that Blanche took it in a different direction. She could have just been like, screw it, I give up. Instead, she decided to use it as motivation to do better and to pass the class. And at least in her situation, once the class is over, she doesn't have to deal with them anymore because it's just for 1 semester or 1 quarter. They were never specific as to how the if it was quarterly or semesterly or how that whole thing worked. But yes, I was grateful in the end that she did stand up to the guy. She had the ability to because of the fact that he had to grade her test according to how she actually scored on it. So he couldn't just be a jerk and flunk her if she passed the test. Because there's oversight in colleges and it can all be checked on and verified, etc. Though I did find Dorothy's Frank Sinatra obsession to be quite entertaining. And it's become clear throughout when you watch all 7 seasons that she definitely has like an obsessive or an addictive personality. Because we learn in a future episode that she also has had a gambling problem. And so she has this same kind of obsession or addiction to Frank Sinatra. Although maybe it's just of a certain era. He's someone that people find highly attractive. I mean, he's more than double my age, so I don't find any kind of vibe or anything there that doesn't, I mean, he doesn't do anything for me. I listen to a whole different type of music than he sings. So I think it kind of has to be, you got to be from that era. It's like I kind of dig Tony Bennett's music, but he does it a slightly different style than Frank Sinatra, so that could be it as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely like half their ages, if not younger, so the music that I've grown up with is very different. But I do find it kind of sad for poor Dorothy. The first time she got to go, Sophia faints, like when he comes out on stage, and so she has to spend the whole time in the bathroom reviving her mom. I don't know why she didn't just sit her in the chair and smack her until she came to, because I mean, she's done that in the show a couple times. But we shall see. Maybe it's just that's how she was back then. She was more kind and caring versus come on, snap out of it. Because clearly in this series, she's much, well, what's the way to put it? A harder character. Sorry. Much less. I mean, she's got compassion sometimes, but I mean, Rose is definitely the queen of compassion in this show. Anytime there's something wrong or someone is upset, she's the one that comes and comforts them. And Dorothy is most definitely not as comforting. And let's see, yeah, Dorothy. Yeah, she's the harder character in this episode for sure. And I do feel bad that she got arrested for scalping the tickets, so she again missed seeing her beloved Frank Sinatra, who she's obsessed with. But she knew the consequences if she got caught. So I'm really not sure why she was willing to take that risk. Breaking even is one thing, but at the same time, if you scalp to the wrong person or sell to the wrong person like she did, you go to jail. So if you wait and do it right before the concert, you're screwed. You're not seeing the show. She should have just got in line and gone and seen the show and not worried about breaking even. I mean, Rose won the tickets, and Sophia's tickets they didn't have to pay for either. It was just her tickets. Now I don't know what an insane price that she paid because that was never stated. But at the same time, I mean, yikes. I mean, you're kind of playing with fire if you're going to do it that close to the show. If they had done it maybe the day before, then they could have been out of jail and been able to still go and see the show. Because it looked like everything happened a couple of days prior too, so they didn't have to wait till day of. But maybe she just was hoping that she would get a higher price for the tickets than what she paid to the scalper if it's day of, because now people are going to be far more desperate to get tickets. But if you look at the age range of people that would go to a Frank Sinatra show in the 80s, I mean, it's kind of going to be dicey to get a whole ton of money unless it's someone that's super obsessed like Dorothy is. And I have no idea how many super mega obsessed Frank Sinatra fans there were in the 80s. Maybe a listener can come up with that answer for us, and then I can include it in the future on this episode. But I have no idea what Dorothy paid that scalper to get those tickets. She never discloses that, so it would be an interesting fact to know. I know how much I've paid for tickets for some of my favorite artists, and I know that like since the first time I've seen some of them, their prices has dropped significantly over the years. And I don't know if that's just an attempt to get more seats get more seats filled, or if it's just they want more fans to be able to come because they're making the prices more reasonable. And I'm not gonna lie, I paid a crazy price for like a ninth row seat for my favorite singer. But at the same time now, that same seat's like, oh, only 40% of what I paid for it then. And that's not even counting this whole coronavirus thing. Because I've seen one singer 6 times, and each time I've gotten better seats and the price has been less, which is kind of shocking. And then I've seen other singers several times too, like no more than 2 or 3, because they don't come around that often. or I haven't been their fan as long, but their ticket prices, even for some of the floor seats, have dropped considerably. And I don't know if it's just like demand for concerts is not like it used to be, and so they have to drop prices. I mean, it's an interesting issue because I even just went to see Miranda Lambert a few months before the coronavirus lockdown happened. And I had like a section, the first section in the left, like the ninth row, and it was only like a $75 seat. And I'm like, since when are seats this good so cheap? You know, I'm used to paying a couple $100 for a really good seat. So, yeah, the whole concert ticket industry has just, it's changed a lot in the last 10, 15, 20, even 25 or 30 years, especially because probably the way that you can order tickets now versus how you can order tickets then. And I guess maybe different packages that you can get and other things. But it is quite interesting, and I would be interested to hear what you guys think about tickets and concerts and how you go about getting them nowadays and the pricing.
It's been great reliving this episode with you. Please check out the podcast website, anchor.fm/I love this TV show, no spaces. You'll be able to see the show notes and also support this podcast. To check out everything I'm up to and nerding about, head over to pastasworld.com. You'll also find additional content there. Thanks for listening and stay golden.